Now, if you find any ketchup, you want to make sure to put this aside because it might be important for the project.
Welcome back out to the shop. My name is Mark. This is the Malarkey Taylor channel, and today we're working on that. This is my 2008 Mercedes GL320 CDI. It belongs mainly to my wife. She drives it most of the time. And a few weeks ago, she reported to me that, a couple weeks ago, it doesn't matter how long ago for the sake of the video, the radio stopped working. So let me show you what we got going on. The sounds just stopped coming out of the speakers. So we hop in here, I'll show you what's up, and then go from there. Come on. We get all the channels and everything here. Put on aux, this should play. If we go to radio, we should get some tunes. But we got nothing. There's a CD here somewhere we can do that. We can do that. Magazine empty, okay. At any rate, you get the point here. It's not working. So, I did a little bit of research, and these are a multi-stage system where there is an amplifier that runs the speakers, and it seems as though that amplifier has gone bad. So let's find out what we can find out. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my scan tool. I'm going to plug in and see if there's any error codes in the audio system. Well, I think maybe this is inconclusive. So in this car, the amplifier is located beneath the driver's seat, which in the US is on the left-hand side. So it's directly underneath of where I'm sitting here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the seat out. I'm going to pull the carpet up, and I'm going to go down into that section down there and see what we see.
All right, to get this seat out, you're going to need a E12 Torx, which is a little reverse Torx like that. Put the seat back all the way, and then you can take these two bolts out in the top. Scoot the seat forward. Then you got to go to the back door, like so. Bolts here and there. Once you got those out, then you want to go back to the front and run the seat back. And then we got to get in here and unclip these wires. Pull, that's right. And then this one, see, there's a clip on the side of it, I think. There we go. With a little zip tie type of thing that got to come out of that bracket a little bit. There we go. And then just take note of this cable routing as it comes up through here. It kind of comes up the side of this piece, because when we go put this carpet back in, we're going to care about that. Now, if you find any ketchup, you want to make sure to put this aside. All right, now that we have that all disconnected, we just got to grab this seat and move it out of the way. Now, one thing to note, when you are moving this out of the way, you should probably be sure to injure your back so that you can claim disability and never have to do it again. Especially if it's your wife's car. Also, try to scrape and break as much stuff as you can while getting it out of the way. There we go. All right. Now we'll just put that right in our way for the rest of this project. That'll do right there. Yeah, perfect. Well, this plastic all goes in there, so just set this aside. Short of removing the seat belt, that's where that's got to sit. So it's okay. It won't be in the way too bad. We only have to get into this back door for one or two little things. Next thing, kind of flip this up and out of the way. And then the front all weather has to come out. Pop this guy out. Next thing we got to do is we got to take some of this trim off down here because we got to peel up this carpet. All right, if you don't have one of these little plastic pieces, you should get one because you're working on a Mercedes now. So let's just kind of work it in here and try not to break our precious lighted sills. Okay, this just kind of pops up. You'll hear it when the plastic breaks and it all comes apart. There we go. This rubber can kind of come off the door a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That just kind of comes up off of there like that. And this guy can pop up out of its little clips. Like that. So there's two pieces to this. There's a bottom piece and a top piece. And these are the wires for the lighted sill, so be careful about those, because they're super important. And then this back piece, this piece has to come off here a little bit, and this back piece just pops right like this. Yep. There's these little tabs in there that will never work again. And that's perfect. All right, now we've got to the area where we can sort of peel this carpet up and get to where we got to get. So then peel this guy back. Just kind of hold him out of the way for now. And then this guy kind of pops up around. It has to come out of the center console a little bit. And then just kind of sit and prop it back there. And that's all we really need to do to get to this. There is a screw here that I don't recognize that goes there. Okay. We just got to pop it off of there. Now that's loose. Now we need a 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter here. Here. And over here. And then there's a Torx bit one there, but it's already fallen out. And then there's one there that I lost. So just pretend that there's one over there. All right, then this metal piece, or this plastic piece comes out. So it's kind of a little bit of a pain. Oh, there's one over here too. I forgot this one. So, once you have all those bolts out, and again, to recap, bolts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus Torx bit, and then this should be able to come out. And these kind of has to come out around the carpet, and then set it there, like somewhere that you don't stand on it. Perfect. And now we can see that we have water in here. Beautiful. So I think we found our problem. So I have no idea where that water is coming from, but this is not the first time that we've had water come in there, and I don't know where it's coming from. I've cleaned drains for the sunroof. I've checked the drains in the front. I've been all over this thing a couple times trying to find that leak, and I don't know where it's coming from. So what I'm going to do now is I'm taking a piece of old brake line, just a little short piece that I had laying around, and I'm cutting the flare side off of it. So I just
take this guy and cut it. You could probably use pretty much anything, maybe even a screw. I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll find out.
Put the brake line on that, and then we're just going to push it through that hole. All the way through the hole. That didn't work like I had hoped. All the way through the hole. Okay. That should do. Do another one over there. Maybe that will provide an outlet for that water. I don't know. Okay. Once we've exposed this guy, we have a couple more 10mm nuts. We got one there, and then one there, and then one back here, hiding in the dark down there. So I'm going to take those guys out. Alright, once we get to this point, we got to take these wires out. There's a clip that pushes down and pulls out. And then this one has a little tab that you push in. The little clip slides. And then that comes out. And once you have that out of the way, get to that third bolt, and then the unit just kind of slides out of there. So these little nuts, collect those, put them in there. So this barnacle, we're pretty sure is what's causing our problem. Now that we have that out, the new one, let's go get it. And I just ordered one from eBay. And seller was prompt. Item as described. No idea if it works. It looks right. It has the same model number. It has a security seal on it, so we know that it's secure. But first thing we should notice is it doesn't come with the bracket. So this rusty bracket, we're going to have to reuse that. And we will. So I got to grab a Torx bit. Take that off of there. Okay, that is a Torx T30 that we need to get that out. That bracket's seen some better days. I think it's safe to say that water's been leaking in there for a while. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do, before I go and put it all back together and put it in there, I'm going to put the new unit in, plug it in, and make sure that it works. If it works, I think I'm going to try to build a protective shroud for this, so that if it gets wet down there, which it obviously is, hopefully we don't lose a second amplifier. So let's plug it in and try it out. Just plugged in. See if we've got a radio. Key not detected. Detect that. There we go.
You feeling good? Y102.
And that is tunes. Also, copyrighted material. So that was definitely our issue, and we can now turn this back off and figure out a way to keep the water off of it, and we are back in the tunes. So give me a minute to figure that out. Okay, I've been tooling around a little bit trying to figure out something to make it work. I had this plastic piece from Uline. It looks like it might work. It's just a little bit narrow and a little bit short. But I also found this egg carton, organic. But this egg carton right here is about the right dimensions, 3.5 by like 12, so that I can take this guy and kind of set it in there like that. That's what I'm thinking. And then put the bracket on, and then that should act like kind of a splash guard. So if I do that, if the water gets in here and splashes around a little bit, it doesn't get into the unit.
Not sure if I'm going to put a tiny little hole on the bottom of it. I don't think I'm going to. The risk that I find with that is if water gets inside the thing, then there's absolutely no way for it to drain away. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to tape the bottom of this up a little bit with some flashing tape, so that if water does get in there, it still is kind of sealed a little bit, because it just got to just the very bottom of this unit. You can kind of see right along this crack, right around here. So if I take tape and I just kind of tape around all this stuff so that that's pretty well sealed, I want to say that and a splash guard, I think it gives us our best chance. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. I'm just saying. So I got some flashing tape and I've got some ductwork tape. So let's get to it. Somewhere somebody's yelling at the YouTube screen right now going, "Don't do that. You're going to mess up the audio. You're going to overheat the unit. You're going to void the warranty." You guys can yell all you want to. Actually, leave it in the comments below what you really think of this botch job here. But here's what I think of it. This machine, this is a 2008 Mercedes. It was cast off by its first owner. It was cast off by its second owner. It was cast off by its third owner. And here I am. I might be the fourth or the fifth owner of this car. And I am the only one willing to try to keep it running. So, it's this car's last chance in this world. I am fairly certain of it. That when I am finished with it, it will become bits and pieces and turned into something else. And when I say I'm finished with it, I mean when my wife is finished with it and no longer has the patience for these quirky, weird issues that it has. So I've got stuff stuck to the bottom of it with the intention of trying to keep the moisture out of the bottom of it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on there like that. I'm going to cut off this junk. So, get rid of the paper cut. Okay. Now we're going to take this flimsy little piece of plastic here, and we are going to put it right here like now. Okay. Now the only thing I've got to do is I've got to get these bolts 1, 2, 3, 4 back in there. So I'm just going to puncture a couple of holes in here, and then I'm going to squirt a little bit of grease in there just to try to keep the water out. So let's get to it. And that's kind of how it lays out then, with the little plastic thingy just kind of shielding the underside there from the splashes. Hopefully. Okay. That. Okay, let's put the rest of these nuts in. Reassembly. Actually, let's make sure that it works. Okay, everything seems to check out. Now I just got to put all that back in there. I will finish out the video with that. But I'm going to sign off now, and then you can watch that if you want to. But the major part of the video is done. We have successfully replaced it. I don't know if the steps that I took to keep the moisture out have been good for it or not. I don't know. I do know that the water has been getting in there for a while. There's rust flakes, there's dirt, there's all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of evidence that it's been wet for a long time. I don't have any idea where it's coming from. 210,000 miles. We're hoping to get a few more out of it, maybe a couple of years, and then send it on to the 5th owner, maybe. I don't know. Anywho, after I get this all back in there, I am going to plug the scan tool back in and clear some codes. I will record all that, so the rest of this video will be me doing that, but I don't expect many people to stay on for that boring part. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, hit the subscribe button and come on back for more. I'm glad to have you. Thank you so much for stopping out. We'll see you on the next one, unless you're sticking around. Because if you're sticking around for the rest of this, then, well, then just stick around, because here we go. New battery in the DJI, and we are gonna finish this up. So next thing I'm gonna do, it's gonna be useless, but I just can't leave that water down there. So I'm gonna get a little rag, and I'm gonna wipe the water out of the bottom there, because I can't stand it. There we go. All right, that's gonna come right back again. I just know it. But it makes me feel a little tiny bit better. All right, this guy goes like this. It has to kind of twist in there. Okay. Like around there. This guy comes up through there. Okay. That goes under there. Yep. All right. I think, yes. What's the hold up here? This guy? Is that what's holding us up? There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Vent reconnected. Push pin down in for that. Okay. And tighten it so that I have a pretty good idea. Okay. Then we got these plastic guys. Go on here, and here, and here, and here, and then there's one missing. So if you're doing this at home, there's one up there that if you drop it, it goes into the front cavity of this thing, never to be found again. I might have stripped that one out. Carpet back underneath of the center console, and then over here you got to remember to grab this guy and bring him out along the side of this. Where does that come through? Where does that come through? Hold on, it's got to come. Yeah, it's through there. That's right. Where does that come through then? Yeah, that's right. Yep, that's right. And then when it comes up through here like that. That's right. Now we got to put this sill back on. Bottom part of it first, which is like this. Okay, that goes like that, and then this guy goes on here like this with that underneath. And goes over top of this. Oop, on the nose. And this guy goes up underneath of here. Kind of a pain on the outside of that. I think that at one point this was connected right here, but it broke. That was not my doing. That was broken when I found it that way, I swear. And we got to do that in the back. This is the one part where that seat belt comes back to bite you. Around the seat. So back here, we are just putting this guy back up underneath here, over top of the thing, underneath of the other one, and through here, underneath of this rubber, and then voila. Oh, we missed. There we go. There we go. We got it. Perfect. Like brand new. Like I knew what I was doing. That's right. Perfect. Hi, bud. What's happening?
I don't know.
I don't know either. What I need to do now is put the seat back in. Oh. A little crack there, but that's because it broke. All right, next thing we got to do is put the seat back in. So,
Here's the seat.
there's the seat. Let's see if we can break stuff before we put it back in. How about that? So, we have to take it and do a weird tilty thing with it because it has to go. All right.
Where?
Yeah, so grab the top of that seat like that. Got it?
Yep.
All right, then we come this way with it. You go in the front like that. And then I think what we have to do, we have to stand it up like this. There you go, that's right. And then set it down and then move back a little bit. Yep, and then we right in like that. There we go.
Now we have a wobbly
How
chair.
bad did we circle this up? Oh man, we messed up the...
Uh-oh.
We messed up the... Uh-oh. Okay, that's not gonna work. We gotta take
All
it
the way
back out and
spinny.
spin it so that we don't have the messed up seat belt, because that's not fixable without taking it out. Okay. Oh, back out she goes. Oh, yeah. Oh. This.
Yeah.
Try it. Ready? All right. Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right. Seatbelt works right. Yeah. Now the seatbelt's right. All right. Let's find where these things are supposed to sit. Okay. Got to come my way a little bit, I think. Oh no, this goes backwards. Do you see a little pin in the back?
Pin?
Yeah, there's a little pin that has to go in the hole. There we go. We got one. Oh, we got both of them. There we go. Oh, I think. Hold on. That one's. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to start the front bolts. No, I think we can do the plastics last. But the electrics we got to hook up so that we can run the seat back and forth.
Yeah.
Stay away from the seat for a second. I got to plug in the airbag. Okay. Okay. Yep. All right. Airbag's going in. Ready? It's got to be right. There we go. Click. Okay, airbag is connected. Seat controller is connected.
I was feeling like maybe that would just like something like explode or something.
Here, can you put these 2 bolts in the back? Just start them. Actually, once you get them started, you can tighten them down. There you go. That's why it wouldn't held straight. You had the wrong.
It had the wrong piece on it.
Okay. That actually checks out. It's clipped in and everything. Okay. Well, that was different than I expected, but it works.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, the next thing we're going to do is clear some codes. So because we had the front seat out, it now has an SRS malfunction code. And that SRS malfunction code will not go away on its own, even though the seat is plugged back in again. We don't want music playing.
I know.
So, yeah, we got the music. All right, we're gonna hit auto scan again.
And
We're
wait.
gonna open this door up because it's actually smokier in here than I thought.
Do, 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 do. I forgot I had this thing on. There we go. Quick navigation system. And then there's no faults.
No faults now. Well, I'm sure there will be if I scanned again, but I'm not gonna scan again.
Because that'll take too long.
Well, I don't need to. Point is, the SRS code's gone. Okay.
So now we can just go home. Wait, we are home.
Now we can park the car and be done. Well, there you have it. That's it for real now. We are all set. Car seems to be good to go. Just had to clear the SRS code. I couldn't find it in the menu. I know it's in the airbag system, so if I'd have spent enough time on it, I could have, but I just did a clear all codes and it took care of it. So that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for stopping out, and we'll see you on the next one.
Like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, like and subscribe. There's all the water that came out, by the way. Yeah, well, what are you gonna do?